Tarantino's taste in westerns is wild, gritty, and brutal. Some are classics. One was even banned for being too violent. Ready to ride into the blood-soaked frontier? Let's go! The Great Silence, 1968. Tarantino doesn't just like The Great Silence, he worships it. Directed by Sergio Corbucci, this bleak spaghetti western flips every cowboy cliché on its head. Instead of sun-drenched deserts, we get snow-covered mountains. Instead of a loudmouth gunslinger, we follow a mute bounty hunter played by Jean-Louis Trintignant. But the real reason Tarantino recommends this film? The ending. It's shocking. It's brutal. It's unforgettable. And it completely defies everything Hollywood taught us about heroes and justice. Set during a harsh winter in 1898 Utah, the film pits silence against a gang of ruthless bounty killers, led by a chilling Klaus Kinski. There's no redemption arc here, just raw, tragic realism. Tarantino even cited it as a major influence for The Hateful Eight, borrowing its snowy setting, tense standoffs, and moral ambiguity. For years, The Great Silence was too dark for mainstream audiences, but now? It's recognized as a masterpiece. If you think westerns are all about good guys riding off into the sunset, think again. This one leaves you cold, in the best way. Django, 1966. Before Tarantino made his own Django Unchained, he was obsessed with the original. Sergio Corbucci's Django is a violent, mud-soaked spaghetti western that blew the doors off the genre. Franco Nero stars as the mysterious gunslinger dragging a coffin through a ghost town. Inside? A machine gun. And when it comes out, bodies hit the ground fast. Tarantino has called Django one of the coolest characters ever put on screen. He didn't just borrow the name, he borrowed the attitude. This isn't your clean-cut cowboy. Django is gritty, vengeful, and completely unpredictable. The film dives headfirst into themes of racism, revenge, and chaos, all wrapped in a nihilistic world where no one gets out clean. Back in 1966, Django was banned in several countries for its intense violence and gore. But for Tarantino, that's exactly what made it iconic. Its bold visuals, bloody action, and anti-hero charm redefined what a western could be. Tarantino didn't just recommend Django. He honored it. And once you watch it, you'll understand why this coffin-dragging legend is still a gunslinger icon. Death Rides a Horse, 1967. If revenge had a soundtrack, Death Rides a Horse would be playing on loop, and Tarantino knows it. Directed by Giulio Petroni and featuring a haunting score by Ennio Morricone, this gritty spaghetti western is pure blood-soaked justice. It follows Bill, a young man seeking vengeance on the gang that massacred his family. But he's not alone. He crosses paths with a mysterious ex-con, played by the legendary Lee Van Cleef, who has his own scores to settle. Tarantino has drawn heavy inspiration from this film, especially in Kill Bill. The non-linear structure, the revenge-driven plot, and even the Morricone music? All nods to this brutal classic. The film blends slow-burning tension with explosive action, creating a dance of bullets and betrayal. What makes Death Rides a Horse stand out is its relentless mood, dark, dusty, and deadly. There's no clean justice here, just raw payback. Tarantino loves it for its style, grit, and that pulpy sense of fate. If you're looking for a western where revenge isn't just a theme, it's the whole damn movie, this is it. Machine Gun Killers, 1961. You might not expect a Japanese film to pop up on Tarantino's western list, but Machine Gun Killers is no ordinary movie. A fusion of samurai cinema and western grit, this 1961 cult gem delivers action with a bullet-spraying vengeance. Directed by Seijun Suzuki, it's a hyper-stylized Yakuza western hybrid packed with sharp suits, faster guns, and a whole lot of attitude. Tarantino has a deep love for genre-bending films, and Machine Gun Killers hits that sweet spot. The plot is fast and furious. A lone gunman with a lightning-fast trigger finger sets out to dismantle a criminal empire one bloody showdown at a time. Sound familiar? That's because this movie helped shape the DNA of modern revenge films, including Tarantino's own Kill Bill and Django Unchained. The film's frantic energy, offbeat editing, and explosive violence were ahead of their time, and a bit too much for mainstream audiences back then. But Tarantino champions it for its sheer audacity. If you want to see what happens when Eastern cool collides with Western chaos, Machine Gun Killers is a must-watch. Navajo Joe, 1966. You know it's special when Tarantino gives it a shout-out. Navajo Joe might not be a household name, but in Cutie's world, it's a Western gem. Directed by Sergio Corbucci, the same mind behind The Great Silence. This gritty revenge tale stars Burt Reynolds as a Native American warrior with nothing to lose and a whole lot of vengeance to serve. The plot? A gang of scalp hunters massacres Joe's tribe, and he becomes a silent, relentless force of justice. The film is soaked in grit, gunfire, and revenge-fueled rage. What makes it really pop is the unforgettable score by Ennio Morricone. Tarantino even reused parts of it in Kill Bill Volume 1, because when Joe's on the warpath, the music needs to scream vengeance. Reynolds wasn't a fan of the film, but Tarantino loved its raw energy, brutal pacing, and over-the-top style. It's not polished, it's feral. And that's exactly what gives it charm. Navajo Joe is a B-movie beast with A-level intensity, and Tarantino wouldn't let it stay forgotten. Rio Bravo, 1959. Tarantino doesn't just like Rio Bravo, he reveres it. Directed by the legendary Howard Hawks and starring John Wayne, Dean Martin, and Ricky Nelson, this classic isn't just a western, it's a masterclass in tension, character, and cool. Tarantino has even said that if someone doesn't like Rio Bravo, he questions whether they truly understand movies. The story is deceptively simple: a sheriff, a drunk, a young gun, and a crippled deputy stand off against a gang trying to bust a prisoner out of jail. But the magic of Rio Bravo is in its rhythm. It's slow-burning, character-driven, and full of sharp dialogue and iconic moments. Every pause, every stare-down, every shot fired feels earned. Tarantino cites Rio Bravo as a perfect example of hangout cinema, movies where you just enjoy spending time with the characters. And he modeled parts of Reservoir Dogs and The Hateful Eight on that same vibe. In a world of chaotic shootouts, Rio Bravo shows how to build suspense with silence, loyalty, and just the right amount of swagger. It's a western that shaped a generation, and Tarantino never forgot it. The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, 1966. When it comes to classic westerns, The Good, the Bad and the Ugly is the Mount Everest, and Tarantino treats it like a sacred text. Directed by Sergio Leone, this spaghetti western defined the genre with its epic scope, unforgettable characters, and iconic Ennio Morricone score that's practically the soundtrack of the Wild West. Tarantino often praises Leone's genius for building tension with lingering close-ups, dramatic standoffs, and a morally gray world where heroes and villains blur. Clint Eastwood's The Good, Lee Van Cleef's The Bad, and Eli Wallach's The Ugly create a perfect triangle of greed, violence, and survival, all racing to find a hidden cache of Confederate gold during the Civil War. This film's influence runs deep in Tarantino's work, from sharp dialogue to stylized violence and sprawling narratives. It's no surprise he references it as a cornerstone of his love for westerns. If you want to understand why Tarantino's westerns feel so electric, start here, the film that taught the world how to shoot slow, shoot smart, and shoot deadly. OneEyed Jax, 1961. OneEyed Jax is a western drenched in style, betrayal, and raw emotion, exactly the kind of film Quentin Tarantino admires. Directed by and starring Marlon Brando, this movie was Brando's only directorial effort, and it shows his obsession with character depth and complex storytelling. Unlike many westerns of its time, OneEyed Jax dives deep into the darker side of revenge. Brando plays a charming outlaw who seeks brutal vengeance against his former partner who betrayed him. The film's slow pace allows the tension and emotional weight to build, creating a haunting atmosphere that lingers long after the credits roll. Tarantino has praised OneEyed Jax for its cinematic ambition and morally complicated characters, something he strives to emulate in his own films. The lush cinematography, combined with an intense score by Hugo Friedhofer, adds to its timeless appeal. Though it wasn't a huge hit upon release, OneEyed Jax has gained cult status among Western fans and filmmakers alike. For Tarantino, it's a prime example of how to blend artistry and grit in a revenge western. Once Upon a Time in the West, 1968. Quentin Tarantino's love for Once Upon a Time in the West runs deep. It's one of the westerns that redefined the genre forever. Directed by Sergio Leone, this film is an operatic masterpiece with sprawling landscapes, unforgettable characters, and one of the most haunting scores ever composed by Ennio Morricone. The story centers on a mysterious harmonica-playing stranger, a vengeful widow, and a ruthless railroad baron in a tale of revenge and survival. Tarantino admires how Leone uses silence, long shots, and slow-building tension to craft a cinematic experience that's almost hypnotic. Every frame feels like a painting, every character hides layers of pain and greed. Tarantino has openly said this film inspired many of his storytelling techniques, especially the slow reveals and morally complex anti-heroes seen in Django Unchained and The Hateful Eight. Its blend of beauty and brutality captures the harsh realities of the Old West while delivering unforgettable cinematic style. If you want to see why Tarantino worships Westerns, Once Upon a Time in the West is a must-watch, a timeless classic that set the bar impossibly high.